Great to have him back, Heather, for Philadelphia. Pretty simple scenario. Giants win it in. If they win their last two and Dallas loses its last two, then the Giants win the division. Everyone in North Texas watching and rooting for the Eagles because the Cowboys clinched the NFC East and the #1 seed in the NFC playoffs if Doug Peterson's team gets the win tonight. Dwayne Harris is back deep for the Giants along with Bobby Rainey, set to accept the opening kickoff. You see the numbers for Harris, who is a Pro Bowler as a special teamer. Caleb Sturgis started his career with the Dolphins, last couple of years with the Eagles, set to kick it off. Wind is blowing left to right the way Sturgis is kicking off. It's nice, it's warm, but there is a breeze, so definitely a chill in the air on this Thursday before Christmas in South Philly. Ready to roll at the Link. We've been doing this since 1933. The Giants and the Eagles. And Harris will bring it out from 5 yards deep and only get to the 21-yard line as we meet the Giants offense.
Eli Manning, Ole Miss.
Rashad Jennings, Liberty University. Odell Beckham Jr., LSU.
Sterling Shepard, Oklahoma.
Victor Cruz, Massachusetts.
Will Tye, Stony Brook.
Eric Flowers. This is all about the youth. Justin Pugh, Syracuse.
Weston Richburg, Colorado State.
John Jerry, Ole Miss. Bobby Hart, Florida State.
Giants happy to get Justin Pugh back in the lineup last week in the victory over Detroit. Giants only scored 17 in that game, 10 against Dallas. First run, Rashad Jennings right up the middle, and a gain of about 8 yards to the 29-yard line for Eli Manning. Start number 198 in a row as he has been in the league, and with Ben McAdoo, the completion percentage has gone up, career high this season at 63. Officially 7 on the first carry, so 2nd and 3. Eli, as usual, running so much of the show at the line, takes a shot from Beckham, who has it broken up. 2 defenders with him. Malcolm Jenkins comes over from the safety spot to knock it away. Nolan Carroll on the primary coverage.
One of the things you're going to see all night long is this 2-deep look, and they are not going to get out of it tonight. They're just going to sit there. So Eli Manning cannot get a tip on what they're going to do. They're going to start basically in that formation every single time and not let Eli do what he does best, which is change last minute and get into the exact right play.
Jenkins made the last play from the safety spot. He now covers Beckham in the slot. Top of the screen on 3rd and 3. Back to Beckham. Jenkins all over him. It's going to be a terrific matchup if he's over there in the slot during the evening.
Tremendous job by Malcolm Jenkins here. He's going to have to weave his way through this pick, and he just does not even break stride against one of the faster players in the NFL. Not many safeties will ever line up against Odell Beckham and survive.
Hear the fans cheering as Darren Sproles is back. He missed last week after taking that hit from DeShazer Everett of the Redskins. Went back for a punt. Suffered a concussion. Missed the game last week in Baltimore. Back in it now. And fielding at the 22-yard line as he makes the fair catch with Dwayne Harris closing in on him. All right, let's meet the Philadelphia offense.
Carson Wentz, North Dakota State University.
Ryan Matthews, Fresno State.
Jordan Matthews, Vanderbilt University.
Nelson Aguilar, Fight On.
Doriel Green Beckham, Hillcrest High School.
Zach Ertz, Stanford.
Jason Peters, Arkansas.
Alan Barber, Missouri Southern.
Jason Kelsey, Cincinnati.
Brandon Brooks, Miami University.
Lane Johnson, Oklahoma.
Heather mentioned his return. Played early. This team was good, protecting Wentz on both edges with 2 very good tackles. 10-game suspension. Had no contact with the team during that time. Showed up back at the office on Monday. Here he is starting at right tackle on Thursday night. First carry, Ryan Matthews coming off a good game. Matthews with an opening first down as Philadelphia has it just shy of the Giants' 40-yard line.
Oh, right away, you're going to feel the impact of Lane Johnson, who has just returned out here at the right tackle position. This was a guy, they started 3-1 with him playing tackle. It gets suspended, they go 2-8 without. And then on the very first play, Nicely done, and then gets out in front as well.
And a Pro Bowler on one side, and Jason Peters, and a fourth-year player who was the 4th overall pick in Lane Johnson on the right. From the 39, Wentz will throw it, and it's complete to Brent Selleck into Giants territory at the 45. A gain of 16 for Carson Wentz, who got the job 8 days before the season started when Sam Bradford was surprisingly traded to Minnesota. He's kept the job all the way. Started every game this year. Learning process for sure, but I think everyone in Philadelphia feels like we've got our guy going forward in the rookie out of North Dakota State.
And nothing really seems to bother him. Everybody that we talked to with the Philadelphia Eagles said that the best part about this young man is he's no different after a win, after a loss. He just sort of sails along. Philadelphia media doesn't bother him. He's really able to handle what's been thrown at him so far.
Matthews slams it up inside, a physical runner. Gain of 4. Romeo Okwara made the tackle. Why don't we meet the rest of the Giants defense?
Romeo Okwara, Notre Dame.
Damon Harrison, the William Penn University.
Jonathan Hankins, the Ohio State University.
Olivier Vernon, the U.
Devon Kennard, USC.
Kelvin Shepard, LSU.
Jonathan Casillas, New Brunswick High School.
Eli Apple, the Ohio State University. Landon Collins, Alabama.
Andrew Adams, UConn.
Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie, Tennessee State.
And he'll be playing corner instead of the slot, which he's been playing a bunch of because of Janoris Jenkins being out. Huge loss for the Giants. Philadelphia's getting it done on the ground so far. Matthews will create 3rd and short. Janoris Jenkins, part of the 3 big free agents they brought in this year. It's been successful on this side of the ball, but losing him means what?
You lose your best cover guy on the outside, so then you're down another level on each side. But basically, the Philadelphia Eagles don't really have that scary wide receiver the way that some teams do. So I think they're going to be okay. It's going to be interesting to see if they play as much man coverage as they have been in some of the earlier games.
3 tight ends in on 3rd and 1. Matthews patiently finds the spot and has a first down at the Giants 34. Good opening drive here for Philadelphia, and Steve Spagnuolo, who knows both of these teams quite well, his time on the defensive staff of both. Second tour of duty as the Giants defensive coordinator, tries to get his group organized.
Yeah, and I think Spagnuolo was basically afraid of playing without Janoris Jenkins. And 2, his defense has been playing great, but 2 highly emotional games back-to-back against division leaders in Dallas and Detroit. He was a little worried on the short week. Could the guys get it rolling here early?
From the 34, Sproles in, the fake to him. 3 receivers downfield. Everybody's covered. So Wentz will take off. And Carson Wentz will run it inside the 30, right to the first down marker at the 24-yard line.
Well, Darren Sproles is not a big guy, but when he comes up and steps through, he's going to get a nice chip there and then get out into the route. He is probably the focal point for the New York Giants on this offense. They want to make sure that Darren Sproles does not beat them tonight. So if they get some double coverage, it'll be on number 43.
Good wheels from Wentz. He gained 9. Toss to Sproles. Got a block from Lane Johnson. Sproles inside the 10. Darren Sproles, opening drive, Philadelphia touchdown. You think it's good to have Lane Johnson back?
I was just thinking the same thing. Watch this, getting out around. Of course, the block's down here. But Lane Johnson has simply made a huge difference already with the quickness, his ability to get outside, some of the combination blocks. Remember, this was a short week. It's not like they had practice this week. I mean, they're running around in shorts. He hasn't hit anybody in whatever it's been, 10 weeks. And he's been brilliant on that first drive.
Tough snap. Caleb Sturgis pulled it down and able to knock it through. Donnie Jones pulled it down, the holder for the Caleb Sturgis extra point. 25-yard touchdown run for Sproles. Philadelphia strikes first. Thursday Night Football is brought to you by Lexus, who wishes you happy holidays. By Amazon Prime. Get free 2-day shipping on millions of items. By Visa, official payment partner of the NFL. and by T-Mobile. Switch to the network built for unlimited data. Dilworth Park, west side of City Hall, annually transformed into this beautiful winter garden in Christmas Village. Eagles very happy with that opening drive. They ran it well against a good run defense in Baltimore last week. They ran it for 62 yards on that drive, more than the Giants gave up in the game against Detroit last week. This is Bobby Rainey on the return for New York, pulled down awkwardly at the 22-yard line. Trey Burton over there. Let's meet the defense Eli Manning's going up against tonight.
Brandon Graham, Michigan.
Fletcher Cox, Yazoo City High School.
Benny Logan, Red River High School.
Connor Barwin, University of Cincinnati.
Nigel Bradham, the Florida State University.
Jordan Hicks, Texas.
Leotis McKevin, Troy University.
Rodney McLeod, the University of Virginia.
Malcolm Jenkins, the Ohio State University.
Jalen Watkins, University of Florida. Nolan Carroll, Maryland.
They gave up 27 points the first 3 games of the season. They've given up at least 27 each of the last 4. Can they make good headway on this end? Playing with a lead here tonight. It's Will Tye, the tight end, hit immediately by Nolan Carroll, and a minimal gain on first down. Jim Schwartz, one time the head coach in Detroit, got the Lions to the playoffs, then was in Buffalo for a year as the defensive coordinator, out of the league last year, working in the league office actually, helping with a football person involved in the officiating and other things. This year, back on the sideline, coordinating this Philadelphia defense. And play calling against Ben McAdoo tonight. 2nd and 9, they'll draw it with the rookie Paul Perkins out of UCLA. And Perkins keeps the pile moving to set up 3rd and a long 4.
So anytime you see this look, and you can sort of play along at home, you've got 2 deep safeties. What Eli Manning is thinking is we should run the ball at that. They don't have enough people down here in the box. We should just go ahead and hand it off. But this is pro football too, right? I mean, you've got Eli Manning and Odell Beckham, so you can't do that all the time. Now 3rd and 5. This is where this game's going to be decided, these kind of situations.
Sterling Shepard back in the slot for the Giants. Manning, compressed pocket, throws the interception. Malcolm Jenkins taking it all the way for an Eagle touchdown.
I think Eli got fooled on this one. Watch the safety drop down. This one's going to drop out. Then you get man coverage. But that wasn't a 2-deep situation, and Eli tried to throw right into it. And there he is, Malcolm Jenkins jumping underneath it. And what a difference in this defense, Mike, when he's playing down instead of free safety. He gets active in things that otherwise he's just sitting back there on. Big playmaker.
Rick Lovato, bad snap last time, better one this time for the Caleb Sturgis extra point, and the Giants stunned early. First 4 minutes and 40 seconds, down 14. Thursday Night Football is presented by Bud Light, beer with your team on it. Mike Tirico, Chris Collinsworth, Heather Cox here in South Philly. Well, Ben McAdoo's offense hasn't been putting up a lot of points. Think about 14 against Pittsburgh, 10 against Dallas, 17 against Detroit. And now, here they are down 14, not even halfway through the opening quarter.
This was not what they had on the drawing board.
And it's a touchback, so you want to get everybody on the same page, right? So what happens after you get stunned? The Jenkins pick 6, 34 yards. The first-year head coach pulled everyone in. All right, we did the pregame speech before. I'm going to get you back in here to make sure you just take a deep breath and stay calm.
Well, you know, they didn't turn it over a week ago for just the 2nd time the entire season, and they come right out. And one of Eli's great advantages is his ability to check in and out of plays and get his team in the right stuff. And so far, Jim Schwartz is showing him nothing and then moving after the snap.
Try to start from the 25. Rashad Jennings with the carry. Only a yard. Bo Allen among those. Destiny Viao in there, the second unit, so to speak, up front for Jim Schwartz's defense.
Yeah, they're going to rotate people through. There's no question about that. They've been doing that all season long. Ultimately, the two guys are going to have to handle in this game are Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham. Those are the two best pass rushers, along with Vinny Curry, 75, who's in there now.
2nd and 9. Eli looks Beckham's way. Odell cannot hang on. Nolan Carroll with the coverage. Nigel Bradham was waiting for that crosser from Beckham.
Yeah, just traditional stuff here. This is a true Tampa 2 kind of defense right here. And this is not anybody covering Odell Beckham one-on-one. This is a dream scenario for the Eagles. If you can zone off that guy and not have to have somebody pick him up in man coverage, that's the best of all worlds. And with this lead, they can do exactly that.
3rd and 9, time for Manning, but short, incomplete, intended for Victor Cruz. Manning has opened 1 of 6, thrown a pick 6, and the Giants are 3 and out.
Wow. I mean, Eli's coming off of one of his better games of the season a week ago, and this has been a very shaky start for him.
Giants working into the wind here in this opening quarter. Darren Sproles back to receive. Wow. I'm with you. I'm with you.
Thursday night, anything can happen, right?
Left footer wing orbits one down there. Sproles gets away. There is a penalty flag thrown a few yards past the line of scrimmage. Marked at the 35 for the moment. Clete Blakeman is our referee tonight.
You know, how much do teams hate it when their rival wants to come in and clinch in their house?
Right.
You know the Eagles are ready for this one.
Giving Ben McAdoo the options. Tack it on or re-kick it. It was 3rd and 9 for the Giants.
Neutral zone infraction. Receiving team number 52. It's a 5-yard penalty. We enforced from the end of the kick. First down, Philadelphia.
So instead of 4th and 4, just back them up to the 30. Sproles and Jenkins on a pick 6 early on. And the Eagles up 2 touchdowns. Number 2 overall, they figured he'd be the 3rd quarterback, but the Bradford trade I mentioned a moment ago means Carson Wentz got to start right away, and a good start too. The passer rating was strong. It's leveled off as we've gone through the 2nd quarter, 3rd quarter, and now the final 4th of the season. And you look at the touchdowns to interceptions, so sharp early. The competition wasn't as good. Cleveland and Chicago, yes, there was a game against Pittsburgh in there, but more interceptions. The Eagles have been playing from behind when many of those interceptions have occurred. Some interceptions early. Overall, though, as Chris alluded to before, there's such a positive vibe around what Carson Wentz has brought to the Eagles. This pass dropped by Nelson Aguilar and incomplete. And part of it, all those numbers, he does not have the best wide receiving core in the league.
And right on cue, there you go. It is such a head scratcher for me. I've got to tell you this. Nelson Aguilar, I thought, was a great pick by the Philadelphia Eagles, and he has struggled with some of the easiest passes. You watch him in college, he caught the ball so easily, catch and run plays, you know, just look like Odell Beckham or Jerry Rice, and here it has been such a problem for him. It's amazing.
So Spagnuolo calling out the defense. What he saw, it's Trey Burton, the tight end. 1 of 3 in on that play. He gains 3 before Landon Collins, who's having a great season at safety for the Giants, made the tackle.
You know, Landon Collins makes plays like this all the time. Watch him run this down. He is a good 20 yards away from Burton as he catches that ball. And we saw it a week ago. We see him with virtually no gain whatsoever on 3rd down and 2, making plays just like that. He is definitely one of those guys. I think you have to throw him into the conversation. Now, I wouldn't personally vote for him, but in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year.
No doubt. Such an impact. The back end of this Giants defense, where they could use a stop on 3rd and 7. Wentz setting the screen to Sproles. He's got space. Wow. Good play in the open field to bring him down by Trevin Wade. Playing a little bit more because of the injury to Janoris Jenkins, and he keeps the Eagles from what could have been a bigger play.
Well, and this is what is a surprise. This is one of the most elusive backs in all of football. And the fact that Trevin Wade is playing in the slot is a little surprising to me. I thought they would move Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie back inside where he's been and play either Cody Sensabaugh or Trevin Wade outside. Maybe they knew something I didn't know. That was a heck of a play.
Donnie Jones, the punter, takes a clean snap, gets rid of it to Dwayne Harris. Going to let it go, and it's going to be down inside the 5-yard line at the 3. Jalen Watkins back there to get it. Donnie Jones proficient at backing the other team up. Jimmy Fallon tonight, all new, welcoming Jim Parsons, Hit Toy experts Evan and Jillian, and December 99th. On the December 22nd edition, The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon. All new later tonight on NBC. Giants take over at their own 3 with Paul Perkins. He will run up the middle for only 2 yards. Chris, really poor start here for this Giants offense. A couple of 3-and-outs and then the 3rd down pick 6 that Malcolm Jenkins took back to the house.
How about Eli? 1 for 6 for 1 yard so far. They've taken 3 shots at Odell Beckham and nothing thus far. Leotis McKelvin over there on them, but a lot of safety help in behind, and unless they can run the football, they're going to leave that safety back there.
From the 5, good move by Perkins and a big opening up the middle. Rookie takes it to the 25-yard line, pickup of 20, and a 1st down for Perkins.
You know, one of the guys that takes some heat is Eric Flowers, but this combination now with Justin Pugh back in there, pretty good. They're getting movement in the run game, which is going to open up everything else. You can basically just watch those safeties. If those safeties start creeping down around the line of scrimmage, that means it's having an impact. We'll see. I think they'll be patient, though, with this lead.
25, Perkins trying to bounce it to the outside. That time gets tripped up and cannot get back to the line of scrimmage. Justin Pugh came back in the lineup last week. Very important. He's played very well at left guard for the Giants. How did he play in that first game back after missing 5?
He was a little rusty. I think even he would admit it. You know, he's one of those really athletic guys. Not even close. He's their best offensive lineman. Started at tackle, moved inside the guard. But they really need him to be sort of the catalyst for this run game. Some of his movement skills very good.
Lost 2 by Perkins, 2nd and 12. Manning taken off the spot, throws on the run to the sideline, and Sterling Shepard got the feet in bounds. Good job by Eli to keep that play alive. A yard shy of the 1st down.
Yeah, they're going to work a little stunt now, a little pressure here, and loop all the way around, which is going to flush Eli out of the pocket. Nicely done, a good stunt. You don't typically think of Eli the scrambler, but that mobility that time made a big difference, and now 3rd and 1.
Brandon Graham, 55. Bring that pass rush off the edge for the Eagles. Run situation here for the Giants. And Perkins fights forward and gets the 1st down. Interesting player here because, Chris, this is a 5th-round pick in Perkins. They have Jarrell Adams, their 6th-round pick, a tight end. A couple of rookies here at money time are starting to play important downs.
No question about it. And here, look at the man coverage out there, Mike, on 3rd and 1. So if you ever do want to take your shot with Odell Beckham down the field, that's the opportunity. In those tight situations, they're going to come up and play the run. If you want to take a shot deep to Odell, that's probably when you're going to have to do it.
3 minutes, opening quarter. First drive with 1st downs for the Giants. And just a yard there from Perkins. Bo Allen on the inside, and Jordan Hicks teaming up to tackle him.
Yeah, a couple of really good inside linebackers for the Philadelphia Eagles. The more I watch those 2 guys, the more I appreciate them. Nigel Bradham, who came over from Buffalo basically because he wanted to stay with Jim Schwartz, and Jordan Hicks, one of the really bright young players. You watch him and what he can do in pass coverage, just tremendous, number 58.
It took Hicks in the 3rd round in the 2015 draft, his 2nd year. You see what Eli sees. He adjusts the play, takes the shot from Beckham. Odell got it at the 30-yard line, and safety couldn't get over there in time, and it turns into a big pass and catch of 31 yards.
I don't know why they tipped their hand there. They've been doing so well. Basically, the safety's going to come down. They know it's a single receiver over here. Where do you think they're going to go with the football? One safety in the middle of the field. You'll hear the term single high. That's what that means. And then that dumps all the pressure on Leodis McKelvin to try and cover that monster, and not going to happen.
Pro Bowl receiver yet again, Odell Beckham, closing in on a 100-catch season, over 1,000 yards, 10 touchdowns. 31, Rashad Jennings, big run up the middle. Jennings gets a first down. So the Giants with a good-looking drive here at the back end of the opening quarter.
Yeah, really pretty simple little power play there, but because they don't have enough guys down around the line of scrimmage, some of these power plays are just going to be opening up gaping holes. So good patience on the part of Eli Manning. The one time they gave him an opportunity to go deep, he got Odell Beckham, and now he's back to banging that running game.
Doing that, they're going to bring in an extra offensive lineman. Marshall Newhouse is over here on the left side. Giants with 6 offensive linemen. And they're going to run it that way with Jennings. Gets to the 16-yard line. Justin Pugh leading there with the block. Down 14-0, staying patient, staying with the game plan.
Yeah, they bring Marshall Newhouse, an extra offensive line in the game. But this is some of the ability now of Justin Pugh to get out in front of these plays. This is some of what has been missing out of this Giants running game. He doesn't look rusty tonight.
Drive that started at their own 3, now in the red zone. Manning taking an end zone shot, and it's broken up. Sterling Shepard, the intended receiver. At the last minute, Leodis McKelvin's left arm got in the way.
Oh, boy. That would look like a touchdown all the way. McKelvin is going to be way behind this one. But look at what he did. The minute that he recovered from that thing, he started running for the corner. He knew immediately what Shepard was going to do, or at least he guessed, and ran right underneath it. Great play.
I thought it was his left arm. It hit him in the helmet. They went after him in the first matchup between these teams. Knock on that door again. 3rd and 8. 4-man rush. Manning held on to by Fletcher Cox, and the pass incomplete. Intended for Rashad Jennings, but Cox put the pressure on Manning and forces the incompletion.
Now, Fletcher Cox, a mismatch on a lot of different people, but here's the coverage down the field. Beckham coming on the underneath route. Again, Malcolm Jenkins on him. There's Leodis McKelvin on the outside, but they're staying zone out there, which all they're really trying to do, Mike, is just get Eli to hold the ball a second longer, because they think Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham can win on the pass rush.
Robbie Gould replaced Josh Brown. He's only attempted 4 field goals. This is 5th. And the former Bear gets the Giants on the board with 10 seconds left in the opening quarter. 14-3, Philadelphia. Showdowns Christmas Eve. You'll have the Bengals and the Texans at 8:15 on NFL Network, and then Christmas Day, the Ravens and the Steelers. The Steelers can win the AFC North with the intense, great rivalries in the league with a lot on the line. That will be on Sunday in Pittsburgh. So you've got most of the games coming up on Christmas Eve, then that Christmas Eve night game with the Bengals and Texans. And on Christmas Day, Ravens Steelers on NFL Network, Chiefs Broncos here on NBC. In Detroit, the Cowboys play the Monday nighter. Nelson Aguilar with the kickoff return, stumbling to the 20. He's knocked down at the 22-yard line by Devontae Skinner. Rivalries in the division. That's what's so great about the schedule now. At the end of the year, this is what we get. Philly's out of the playoff picture, but as you said before, they love to ruin it for the Giants. And the Cowboys next week, if the Cowboys have something at stake.
Yeah, and, you know, with Carson Wentz now, there's a great feeling in Philadelphia that they're building it the right way. So what would be better than knocking off the Giants? Okay, yeah, you guys go ahead to the playoffs. Dallas Cowboys go to the playoffs, but our future is starting to feel pretty good. We come in here and knock these guys out of their clinch tonight.
Wentz looking for his first division win. Eagles are 0-4 in the division this year. Ryan Matthews with a run for a yard, and that will bring us to the end of the opening quarter here in Philadelphia with the score: Eagles 14, Giants 3. Thursday Night Football continues after these messages from your local station. From Philadelphia, tonight's aerial coverage is provided by Geico. A couple shopping days left until Christmas. Chris, you got your Christmas shopping done?
Online, baby. Haven't been home in a while.
Mike Tirico in for Al Michaels with Chris Collinsworth and Heather Cox. Second quarter begins here in Philadelphia. Eagles jumped out to the 14-0 lead. Giants a field goal on their last drive, and that's incomplete for Jordan Matthews. We talked about the return of Lane Johnson here tonight.
Yeah, I never thought about fresh legs applying to a tackle, but clearly it does. Lane Johnson, the former quarterback, coming back in a tackle, and his athleticism showing up right away. And the other thing, Mike, that I think is a huge thing to talk about is this is a very rare team in the NFL that has two top-end tackles. Most teams have one at best. Some have none. We've seen a few of those teams this year. But having both of these guys, Jason Peters and Lane Johnson, back in the lineup, this looks like the way the Eagles started the season.
The season 3-0, 4-2. They've gone on this losing skid as Wentz takes the timeout with the play clock running down as we go down to Heather Cox.
Well, you guys mentioned Lane Johnson's been away from the team for 10 weeks. Lane told me that when he returned, he said, I could feel the anger. I could feel the frustration in the locker room at me. I failed my team. I'm full of bottled up anger and frustration. Now, while he was away to stay in shape, he did work out in an Oklahoma combine training facility, but admitted, it's hard to replicate that game action. And he did say, I've been winded in training all week. But guys, so far looking pretty good, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, absolutely, Heather. Chris mentioned he was a quarterback in junior college at Kilgore College, actually threw 61 passes there, and then he went as a tight end to Oklahoma. Briefly moved to the defensive line and finally found that home at offensive tackle. The 10-game suspension for a second failed test regarding performance-enhancing drugs.
But think about for a young quarterback to know that both sides are basically secure. I mean, that's a whole different way to look at a defense.
Rookie quarterback has 3rd and 8. Wentz in trouble. Keeps the play alive. Chased by Okwara. Got away from Okwara twice. Now fires downfield. And it's late. Cromartie got the feet down. And Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie comes up with the interception at the 38-yard line.
That's another one that Doug Peterson will talk about learning the hard way. This is not North Dakota State. This is the NFL, and these guys can fly. I mean, there was clearly a receiver open down the field, but he's 40 yards away, and do you know how much ground Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie can cover while that ball's in the air? Now he does.
He has so many of his interceptions. He's thrown 14 on the year. 2 have been thrown with the lead. This is the second one. Rodgers-Cromartie the catch. 1, 2, so both feet inbounds. It's a turnover. It turns out to be just under 40-yard net punt, the same effect. But your point is terrific. Long term, they'll be sitting and watching, and that's probably a mistake he won't make in a couple of years.
Well, that's what Frank Reich, the offensive coordinator, was talking about. He said, it's one thing, we didn't plan on playing this young man at all, but think of all the tape, all the teaching we can do off of mistakes just like that for next year.
Chance for the Giants to put together another good drive. Get right back in it from the 38. Manning down the middle. Shepard couldn't hang on. Tried to get it to Sterling Shepard coming across the middle of the field.
Well, they got him again in single coverage. You just have to be able to make the play. I mean, Eli is starting to pick up exactly what's going on here. That's man-to-man coverage with your slot receiver against the safety. You just got to catch that ball. I mean, for the Giants, that's too easy.
Shepard second on this team, 55 receptions. Victor Cruz hops back in the slot as Perkins runs to the right. Paul Perkins across the 40 and to the 42-yard line. This is a pretty good back at UCLA. His dad, Paul Sr., played with Tampa Bay. His uncle, Don Perkins, the Rookie of the Year for the Cowboys, part of a Pro Bowl career. This young man, a good runner, 3rd all-time at UCLA with his nearly 3,500 rushing yards. And has started to emerge here over the last couple of games. Had his best game last week against the Lions, 11 carries for 56 yards.
And he understands protections, and he makes good blocks. Had a good day against Jamie Collins of the Browns, which really first got the attention of the coaching staff.
3rd and 6. Manning incomplete, trying to get it to Beckham. It was blanketed, and After the turnover, the Eagles defense comes up with a 3-and-out against the Giants.
Yeah, anytime you've got Odell Beckham on one side of the field, the safety is going to be flying that way. So they're just going to have to be a little patient. They need some of these other receivers to start making a few plays, take some pressure off of Beckham.
Darren Sproles back for the Brad Wing punt. So nobody can catch. Someone's going out of bounds at the 2.
Oh, man, that was a line drive. Like a Pete Rose single going out there.
How do you like me now? 98 yards for Wentz to go.
Let's talk a little Stars war here. Don't want to get sued. Olivier Vernon, Brandon Graham, two guys that have been applying the pressure all season long. When you combine the sacks, the hits, and the hurries, number 1, Olivier Vernon. Number 2, Brandon Graham. Two outstanding 4-3 defensive ends.
And I love looking at it that way because you just look at sacks. And that doesn't define it. So often it's the other things, the pressure they put on. And by adding the hits and the hurries, you get that disruptive number for those two. On either side here tonight. Alan Barber, the left guard, went to the locker room. Wisniewski in playing left guard for the Eagles right now as they run it for only about 1.5 yards. Here's Heather.
An update for you on Alan Barber. He does have a right hamstring injury. It's the same hamstring that kept him out of the last 2 games for the Eagles. He is questionable to return, Mike.
Yeah, so Stefan Wisniewski in there, who started his career with the Raiders, a second-round pick, was in Jacksonville last year, has been part of the group that has been trying to keep things together with the spate of injuries up front. And he's back in at left guard now. Ryan Matthews carried for 2. Fake to him here. Wentz being chased. Throws complete to Brent Selleck. He'll set up third at about 3 yards. There's Devin Kennard in there for the Giants in on the tackle.
And this is the real difference maker for Carson Wentz, in my opinion. Yes, he's a big, strong guy, physical guy, but he is also fast. When he took off for what looked like the game-tying touchdown a week ago, he put his head down and just ran over people, basically, to get into the end zone. He is fast, he is big, he is strong. Think a little bit of Ben Roethlisberger, that sort of size, but much faster than what Ben was.
Good comparison.
Could be.
Check it out Christmas night. 3rd and 3. And another timeout. Wentz wants to know what happened there at the play clock.
Timeout. This is a 30-second timeout.
It's a second one Philadelphia has had to use here with the play clock running down.
You know what's really been interesting for me is that this New York Giants defense has been better without Jason Pierre-Paul. Now, that is not possible. That's the dumbest statement of all time. But in reality, against 2 very good teams the last couple of weeks, they have just been sensational. And give credit to Steve Spagnuolo. You just wonder how long can that keep up, because they really don't have another pass rusher other than Olivier Vernon.
The pass rush was a concern in the early part of the season, too. They weren't getting that productivity. But certainly now with Okwara, Odighizuwa in for some snaps at that defensive end position. A run on 3rd and 3, and the Giants were ready for it. Ryan Matthews is stopped. And Okwara, who we just mentioned, along with Jonathan Hankins, forcing the 3-and-out.
Yeah, Romeo Okwara is going to want us to show up all the time. He had an unbelievable game that night against the Dallas Cowboys and comes off and makes this play as well. He's sort of the one. He and Kerry Wynn. Kerry Wynn, I think, a little bit more the run player. Okwara maybe the guy they're going to bring in some pass rush situations. So 2 for 1 for Jason Pierre-Paul, and so far it's been working.
Free agent out of Notre Dame there. Into the wind, this punt. Good setup, good field position for the Giants. Harris has to run up just shy of midfield to make the catch. Lost the football. Free on the ground, and Wade falls on it for the Giants. Trevin Wade able to get there and avoid what would have been a huge turnover because it's such good field position for the Giants. Pro Bowl special teamer couldn't hang on. Got bailed out by his teammate Trevin Wade. NFL Thursday Night Football is presented by Bud Light, beer with your team on it. Start the week here Sunday night. The Broncos and the Chiefs reprise that terrific game we had the Sunday after Thanksgiving. The KC won off the upright and in by Cairo Santos. Football Night in America starts you off 7 Eastern time. Then Al Chris Michelle will have the game Christmas night here on NBC. From Arrowhead, Giants take over with field position at their own 44. Manning swings it out. Sterling Shepard on the move. Pushed out of bounds by Jenkins right near that first down mark at the Eagles 46.
Yeah, that was a little too much space out there. You know, you get the too deep safety look there, but you've got to walk somebody underneath it. Right there, Michael Kendricks has got that false step. Boston, there just wasn't anybody else out there to cover that ground.
A frustrating season for Kendricks, whose play has dipped compared to his first 4 years here in Philadelphia. Give Shepard the first down. Jennings with the carry, and not much there. Fletcher Cox, the Pro Bowler named this week, in on the tackle.
This is the matchup you have to worry about right here against John Jerry if you're the New York Giants. This is one Fletcher Cox has a way of just overpowering people on the inside, as does Graham on the outside. So if you're going to run, maybe a better idea to run left.
He's been seeing a few double teams. Jim Schwartz telling us he's had to adjust to that. It's been part of the story his whole career here, but seeing more of late. Swing it out to Jennings, and he'll get about 3 yards. He'll mark it with 2, and he'll bring up third down for the Giants.
Yeah, just to finish up on Fletcher Cox a little bit, here's a guy who had 4 sacks in the first 4 games. And then what happened? Everybody knew the big contract that he got, and they started paying attention to him. And he goes this huge gap with no sacks whatsoever, and he's had 2.5 down the last 2. Basically, Jim Schwartz telling us that, hey, he had to adjust. He had to start playing like a star. Stars get double teamed, and he has adjusted.
Third and 7. Manning's got 4 in the pattern. He's got time. And he's got Beckham for the first down at the 30-yard line. Benny Logan peeled back from his defensive line spot, makes the tackle. But they move the chains. First down, Big Blue.
Well, it was really a matter of the protection here because you're going to get this in cut, but the only way you get that is if this offensive line gets the job done. And that time, Bobby Hart did a fantastic job. There's Eric Flowers on the outside against Connor Barwin, just long enough to get that pass off.
Eagles have rotated the defensive line, so Cox out of there. Let's see if the Giants can run it on this first down. It'll be a play action with Manning. And complete to Victor Cruz. Did he hang on? Came down to the ground. Gain of 12 if it stands. He was losing the ball a little bit. Nolan Carroll saying, look up at the replay screen. The Giants have rushed to the line trying to get it in. That play is off. Eagles couldn't get the challenge down. It's a gain of 2 yards on the run for Jennings.
I don't think he caught it, but too late. It all happens fast. Nice job by the Giants. Thing looks loose going to the ground. Who knows? Doesn't matter now.
Doesn't matter now. There may not have been enough to overturn it.
But this is what this game's going to turn into. I think the Eagles are going to let them move relatively easy between the 20, but now it's game on down here in the red zone.
The 16, Manning, Jennings, Bo Allen. Loss of a couple. Third year out of Wisconsin. They took him in the 7th round. Comes up with a good play there.
Boy, that was a really good play because he was basically on the wrong side of that screen. Justin Pugh did a good job of getting him inside of him, and he still was able to recover and get back underneath that screen pass. Really nice recognition and good athleticism there.
Better defensive lineman back in for Philadelphia on 3rd and 9. Quick count, Manning. Graham coming up in the middle. The pass is incomplete. Looking for Beckham, who was double teamed, but it all starts with the pressure from Brandon Graham coming inside.
Well, here's what you can't do if you're Bobby Hart. You can't let this big guy take the inside route and as you step back, because that is a direct line to Eli. If Eli had about 0.2 of a second longer to make that decision, I think he throws it right over the top that time of Jalen Watkins and probably scores. But once again, down here in the red zone, hold him to a field goal.
Good from 35, again from 35. Robbie Gould knocks it through, working with the wind here in Philadelphia. Eagles 2 touchdowns, Giants 2 field goals. The Celebrity Apprentice with the baddest boss in town, Arnold Schwarzenegger. All new celebrities, including NFL stars Ricky Williams and Eric Dickerson in there too. New Celebrity Apprentice. It premieres Monday, January 2nd. Great way to start your new year on NBC. Knocking on the door, 2017. Week 16 in the NFL. Still out, only 10 teams eliminated, 22 still with Super Bowl hopes. Hope they can get to Houston. No return. Aguilar lets it go, and here's Heather Cox.
Mike, our Throwback Thursday tradition continues tonight with player picks from their childhood. We'll take a look and start with Giants rookie cornerback Eli Apple. His mom, Annie, posted this one on Twitter. And Zach Ertz, when he was just 1, his mom told us she still remembers how expensive that photographer was and that he didn't sit still. And Jordan Hicks in 5th grade, his first year of football. And finally, Odell Beckham posted this from when he played soccer with the hashtag Bend It Like Beckham. Little TBT for you guys.
That's pretty cool. Of course Beckham played soccer, was a star, right?
He was a good soccer player, too. People don't really realize they wanted him for some of those national teams.
He could be good at anything. He's one of those. There's Matthews with the carry. Minimal game. Hey, look who made the tackle there. Damon Harrison in there. Big old snacks. Remember him? He was with the Jets his first 4 years. Makes the free agency move, goes across the hallway, if you will, at MetLife Stadium from the Jets to the Giants. And man, what a great personality he has, Chris.
Yeah, we were talking to him. Then we wanted to talk to one of his teammates. I said, who's sitting around you on the bus? And he said, Jay Bromley. I said, tell me something about Snacks. Said he's scared of dogs. I was like, scared of dogs? What are you talking about? Put him back on. He said, I'm from Louisiana. They ain't no nice dogs in Louisiana.
26, Matthews to the right, got around the edge. Landon Collins pulls him out of bounds, a gain of 4. And the Eagles, who haven't found a first down in the last 3 drives, going to face 3rd and 5 here.
Yeah, the Eagles come out on that first drive and go 78 yards and no first downs since. So they really now are going to need Carson Wentz to come up with a play. Doug Peterson knows he has to be patient with that running game. It's not easy to run against the New York Giants inside with all that beef, but 3rd and 5 is a makeable 3rd down for a young quarterback. These are the plays that he has to convert.
The times usually look for Sproles or Ertz. He'll swing it out to Dorial Green. Beckham through a lot of traffic. Green Beckham gets the first down at the 37-yard line before Cody Sensabaugh makes the tackle.
You know, this Dorial Green Beckham was the #1 recruit coming out his year in high school. Of all the prospects, and you think about some of the amazing ones, but when he gets in the open field, this guy's a monster. He's like 6'5" and 230 pounds, and when he is on the move, very difficult to get him on the ground. That was a nice play call.
2 big years at Missouri, ran into legal issues, arrest, dismissed at Mizzou, went to Oklahoma. Now a home with the Eagles. Here is Wentz taking off, a lot of space and slides at the 45. A lot of conversation off the Monday night game with slides, and when the contact is made, and Eli Apple's going to draw a flag here. And it looks like he'll tack 15 on.
It's an interesting call. I think Eli Apple was trying to pull off of that hit. You can see him getting his head out of the way here.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, late hit to the quarterback. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run, first down.
I know these quarterbacks are valuable, and they're not going to lose any of them, but he did everything he could do. Did a slide himself, pulled his head out, basically just hit him with one hand. I don't know.
And you saw what happened Monday night with Cam Newton, played towards the sideline. He slides late. The effort is made to try not to hit him, but you end up hitting him, and Newton gets no flag thrown for him, but one against him when he threw the ball at the Redskins defender. Taunting was called. Wentz, shot, end zone, touchdown, just like that, they convert the third down, get the big penalty, and 40 yards to Nelson Agholor.
Great job here by Carson Wentz. He's going to come up. He sees the coverage he wants. Gives a little hand signal. He knows what he wants to do. The deep over going across. This guy's going to go in man coverage, and nobody runs deep, or at least gets there soon enough. Eli Apple can't catch it. And for Nelson Agholor, as that thing was coming down, he made darn sure he had his hands underneath that one.
Just his second touchdown reception on the season. Sturgis off the upright and in.
Something about when you call games, man. Bank shots.
It must be us. Agholor to the end zone one more time. And the Eagles put together 2 drives here, and they're up 21-6. Great, the event film of the holiday season with Sing, starring Matthew McConaughey from Illumination, the creators of Despicable Me and The Secret Life of Pets. Sing. It's now in theaters. The Liberty Bell here in Philadelphia. Eagles with a big momentum swing there. 21-6. Dwayne Harris with the return. Well covered by Philadelphia once again. Camus Grugier-Hill with the tackle on field for the Giants. Here's the touchdown.
You never know for sure, but I'm going to guess this is a quarters coverage here. And once this guy goes across, Landon Collins should have stayed back and then let the other safety pick that up. You'll see Landon Collins at the end of this turn around and look and basically point to the other side. You never know. There are so many different things involved in coverage, but you could tell how uncomfortable Collins was when that guy ran back into his zone. Now they're talking to Eli Apple, so you never know. Maybe he's the replacement guy that's supposed to go back if Collins goes across.
Ball Perkins to carry. Gains maybe a yard and a half on first down. Wentz with the beautiful throw. But Chris, I talk about the momentum there. It was 3rd and 5. The Giants had gotten 3 3-and-outs in a row. They pick up the first down with Green Beckham, get the 15 yards tacked on to the run by Wentz, and boom, the 40-yard strike. And just like that, up 15. Jarrell Adams, the rookie tight end, switching sides for the Giants. Adding to the air, and will tie 22-yard line with a tight end out of Stony Brook. Leotis McKelvin was back in coverage.
You know, and one of the other things that this Giants offense gets a lot of is that 2-man coverage, which is, in my opinion, the hardest thing to get open against. You've got man coverage running underneath, 2 deep safeties, but because Eli is not a threat to run, and that's sort of what breaks that coverage, they get a lot more of it than most teams do.
Only the Rams poorer on 3rd down than the Giants. 3rd and 3, a lot of noise here in Philly. Giants pick this up. Manning downfield. Cruz with the catch. Victor Cruz gets into Eagles territory at the 48-yard line. Got to be so good for him to come back here. This is where he was injured 2 years ago.
There was that 2-man coverage. So McKelvin underneath. He thought he had safety help over the top. The safety help just simply did not get there from Jalen Watkins.
Giants jumped the ball quick, run by Perkins for about 3 yards. You remember, you guys were here, you and Al, was a Sunday night when Victor Cruz had that devastating knee injury 2 years ago. Didn't play last year, so this is his first game back in Philadelphia. His comeback has been terrific. He has not had a great season. Moved from that slot where he was so good to the outside, limited to just 30 catches on the year. But for him to come back, you can only imagine the emotions that he has back on this field. 7, here he is back in it. The 41-yard line. Chris, he came back before the game, ran right down first thing to that exact spot where he got hurt. And Odell Beckham, his partner, joined him down there for a private, reflective moment before coming back with some confidence onto this field. You can only admire guys who do that in those situations.
Yeah, it's always nice to have a friend like that too, because you know it's hard to walk back in this stadium. It's almost like you just have to go down, acknowledge that spot, and then let's get on with it. Nice moment.
2. Manning complete through the perfect spot for Sterling Shepard. Giants respond to that Eagles score with a good drive. As we hit the 2-minute warning, Giants win and they're in the playoffs, but the Eagles are standing up in their way. Lexus halftime report coming up. Guys, we'll talk about the crucial Christmas doubleheader for the AFC playoff picture. Look ahead to Ravens Steelers that we'll have for you on NFL Network, and then Broncos Chiefs that we'll have on Sunday Night Football from Kansas City. Final 2 minutes of this first half. Eagles get the ball to start the second half. So big drive here for the Giants. First and 10 run with Jennings goes nowhere. Brandon Graham erases that.
Here we go. You learn the hard way sometimes when you play tight end, too. If you are out there, Jarrell Adams, the rookie, and you know that run play is away, and Brandon Graham's right there, you better take a different aiming point.
Second and 13, high toss. Will Tye brings it down for 31 yard. I'm going to mark his forward progress at the 30, gain of 8, 36 coming up with 85 seconds till halftime.
You know, and this lead is allowing Jim Schwartz to play a conservative back end, which is going to frustrate Odell Beckham and Eli Manning. He really has no choice but to just keep checking it down against this defense.
First time tonight, Bobby Rainey in at running back. 3rd and 6. Manning, Beckham runs for it and gets the first down off the hit by Jenkins to the 21-yard line. 58 seconds left. McAdoo's going to let him keep rolling.
He's magical with the ball in his hands, isn't he?
I was afraid for a second he wasn't going to get the first down. Then I thought, well, it's Odell. He'll get there.
Odell.
Down to 45 seconds left. Eli throws incomplete. And Victor Cruz had hands on it. Couldn't get it. We should point out there's a good wind here, and it's kind of moving from the Giants sideline towards the Eagles sideline.
Mike, watch this. Watch Brandon Graham. He's not going to get a sack. We talked about the pressures and what that means. Watch this. Going underneath hard, and you can see that Eli had to sort of short arm that throw, but that's the kind of disruption we talk about with Brandon Graham. He's never had more than 6.5 sacks in a season, but he always disrupts the quarterback.
Those hurries and hits you're talking about, the wind I was talking about a moment ago. Still all 3 timeouts for the Giants. Quickly out of Eli's hands to Sterling Shepard. Probably take a timeout here. 37 seconds left. And Ben McAdoo will before 3rd down. Thursday Night Football is brought to you by the new Volkswagen Golf All-Track with 4Motion all-wheel drive. By Macy's. By Microsoft Surface, the official tablet of the NFL. And by Wendy's Taco Salad. It's back. The Eagles Cookies with Rookies, an event they held last week, benefiting the Stepping Stone Scholar Program. There's so many teams around the league do so many things around the holiday season, especially. Bravo to all the players and the staffs around the National Football League community relations departments. Work to make their community a better place, not just in the standings. Tip of the headset to you. 3rd and 3, first down, waits at the 10. Jarrell Adams, the tight end, in the middle of the 3 receivers at the bottom. Manning sends it vertically. Shepard in the middle. Touchdown, Giants. Big time drive, much needed for the Giants. And Sterling Shepard has 8 touchdowns on his rookie season.
Woo! Watch this move. This is a patient move by a young receiver. Watch this. 1, 2, 3. Zip. That's tough right there. Odell would have been proud of that one. Watch him make this move. He is going to be something. He really is. He already is. That's his 8th touchdown on the year. Special player.
There's so much of his work in the slot. Gold adds the extra point, and it's 21-13 with 33 seconds remaining. Giants much needed touchdown. Tighten this one up on the way to halftime. Christian thinking about Ben McAdoo. He calls the team over down 14-0. You've got Eli Manning, who's playing in his 200th NFL game tonight, 198th straight start. patience. You can't panic. There's a whole game left. You can't start throwing the game plan out. And that was a really good drive to get them within one score.
I'm trying to think, has Eli Manning ever panicked over anything in his whole life? I mean, you know, sometimes you wonder if he has a pulse or not. He comes out 1 for 6 for 1 yard, but you knew he was going to begin to solve the puzzle through the pick 6. And now slowly, methodically, he sees what they're doing. He took check down after check down after check down. And then when he got the man coverage that he wanted, hit him for the touchdown.
With the win, it'll be a touchback. Eagles will get it at the 25-yard line. I mentioned all the NFL games. That main chunk that's usually on Sunday will be on Saturday. So it's a 9 a.m. Eastern start Saturday. NFL Network. Jay Ajayi opens up on his unlikely road to the NFL. Rich Eisen in company of Game Day Morning for you. 9 Eastern Saturday, Christmas Eve on NFL Network.
Yeah, when Ajayi hits you with that British accent, it's a little stunning, isn't it? Like, wait a minute, hold on.
And then when he hits you when he's running, too. He did a good job. We saw Adam Gase's team last Saturday up at MetLife beat the Jets. And they have themselves, because of the Broncos' loss, in the 6th spot. They go to Buffalo on Saturday and close with New England down in South Florida on New Year's Day. 33 seconds, 1 timeout left. Eagles get the ball to start the second half. They're not taking a knee. It's a complete throw to Zach Ertz on the sideline. Inbounds is where his momentum stops, so they continue to churn the clock. And they want to clock it here after the first down.
Yeah, that was a big not being able to get out of bounds moment there.
15 seconds left.
You know, you just get the feeling that Doug Peterson and Frank Reich are just wanting to put this young quarterback in as many tough, big game situations as they can this year so that they have more to work with this offseason. Why not come out here? You know, maybe if you're playing for a championship, you take a knee and you punt it away. Carson Wentz, let's see what he's got.
The difference being a first-year head coach with a rookie quarterback.
He's in control there, isn't he?
Sounds it. 2nd and 10 towards the sideline, incomplete. Trying to get it to Jordan Matthews. Eagles sideline wants a flag. Instead, it says 3rd down with 11 seconds to go.
I tell you, Trevin Wade's done a nice job in there in the slot. Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie, once he moved to the slot, I thought really made a difference for this defense. Of course, Janoris Jenkins, their best, not playing in this game. Eli Apple on the outside, but so far we've seen him make a big open field tackle, and his coverage has been good.
You need about 26 yards to have a legit shot at a field goal. Again, it's into the wind. It is 3rd and 10, but 11 seconds left. And looking for the screen, they send it to Sproles, who can do a lot. Sproles across midfield to the 44-yard line. Will they get the timeout? They will, with 1 second remaining. And they'll get 1 shot at the end zone. Keenan Robinson down there chasing for the Giants.
Well, this is the guy they were worried about, Darren Sproles. He said, if I'm going to double team anybody, it's going to be him. And they really had people all over that. It's almost remarkable, isn't it? When you see that guy on the field. We went out to practice the other day for the Philadelphia Eagles, and it's a walkthrough. And I think it makes Doug Peterson crazy.
Yes.
This guy, without warming up, they don't get loose, they don't do calisthenics, and he is sprinting all over this walkthrough because that's just the way he's wired.
So 2 seconds, 1 more put back on the clock. Giants sent 5 defenders back. No Odell Beckham, who did play 1 snap against a Hail Mary earlier this season. Wentz will step into it, fling it downfield, hope for the deflection, and it is incomplete. It got deflected backwards. Aguilar was chasing, and nothing happening. Eagles get the ball. Start the second half. The Lexus halftime report is coming up. At the break, 21-13 Philadelphia here on Thursday Night Football. Brotherly love, a penultimate weekend of the NFL season starts here.
Get in your steps, and wrap your team and sing it. I don't know what you've been told, but football make you lose control.
Toss to Sproles. Sproles inside the 10. Darren Sproles, opening drive, Philadelphia touchdown. Manning throws the interception. Malcolm Jenkins for an Eagle touchdown.
I think Eli got fooled on this one.
Wentz shot, end zone, touchdown, Aguilar. And that takes us to the second half here in Philadelphia. Get a look at Center City on this Thursday before Christmas. 21-13, Philly on top. Eagles get the ball first. The 21 points allowed in the first half, the most the Giants defense has given up all season. They were on a great run coming in. Eli got off to the 1-for-6 start, got better, especially that last drive. Carson Wentz 8 of 14, a touchdown and a pick. Giants keeping the ball 43 plays, including 21 in their last 2 drives. Eagles offense a little bit lower than that. The teams combined for 1 penalty, tied for the fewest in the half this season, making everyone happy except the friends and relatives of Clete Blakeman, our referee. He's only been seen on camera once here tonight. Third quarter underway as Robbie Gould kicks it into the wind, so returns going this way. Aguilar just shy of the 20-yard line. Harry Witt with the tackle for the Giants.
Great matchup out here. Olivier Vernon, one of the great pass rushers in the league, against Jason Peters, another Pro Bowl, probably headed for the Hall of Fame. Got a little help early on from Darren Sproles, but then it's just been one-on-one between these 2 great players. It's been fun to watch.
Vernon, part of that big group the Giants brought in the offseason to bolster the defense. This was such a bad defense last year. 420 yards a game last in the league. We have a play stoppage here before the first snap, and Zach Ertz is being escorted toward the sideline here for Philadelphia. He was out there on kickoff coverage. I don't know if one of the officials saw that he might be hurt. Ertz is walking over to the bench.
Well, he must have just been a little wobbly out there. I think he got his leg. He was hopping a little bit coming out of that play, so maybe that's it.
This Eagle drive starts from the 20. Ryan Matthews running right, and he'll only gain a yard and a half on that one. Keenan Robinson in for the tackle. Ertz has been a big factor of late for this team.
Well, he sure has been, and there's on the left-hand side, and I think maybe his own guy, a little friendly fire, got him, and he gives it a couple little hops. But he has 63 catches on the year, and 60 of his 88 targets this year have all come in the last 6 games.
Only caught 1 ball in the first half. It's become a great comfort area for Carson Wentz. Officially 2 on first down. Matthews on 2nd and 8. Snaps. Harrison chased him. Olivier Vernon throws him out of bounds. A couple of those acquisitions we were talking about that have bolstered this New York defense.
Yeah, both of them. You get inside and outside, and there's Vernon right there. Snacks Harrison's going to jump underneath Jason Kelce. But the one thing that the Eagles, I'm sure, did not want to do tonight is set up Jason Kelce to be one-on-one against Damon Harrison inside. As long as they're running laterally, that really plays to Kelce's advantage. He's a very fast, very athletic center, but not a big guy. And there they go, right on his nose once again.
Next-gen stats show you Ertz back on the field. 5 in the pattern for Wentz. Gets away from Okwara, loads and fires late. Incomplete. Very similar to the interception he threw in the first half. Jonathan Casillas almost had another one.
You know, and I think he could have hit that one. And he's kind of beating himself in the head a little bit. But there was plenty of room to throw this one out on the sideline. There was a little gap, and he just didn't see Casillas, I guess, and just gave him a chance. But that's the second time he's had to learn that these defenders in the NFL are faster than what he's seen before.
So the Eagles open with a 3-and-out. Johnny Jones kicks it. 50 foot away. Good rush. Dwayne Harris backpedals at the 30. The block away from getting some space. What was he pulled down? A wonderful play on special teams by Terrence Brooks. The safety got him by the leg and would not let go. Brooks in coverage, along with Bradham for Philadelphia. Thursday Night Football is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing. By Old Navy. By Papa John's, the official pizza sponsor of the NFL. And by Verizon, it's always a great gift on Verizon. Getting ready for the 116th annual Mummers Parade on New Year's Day. Saw some stuff from the Mummers Museum. Uniquely Philadelphia experience. Coming up in a week and a half. Rashad Jennings, first down run for the Giants to the 38-yard line. Penalty flag is down. One assessed, one declined in that first half.
Holding. Offense. Number 67. 10-yard penalty. Replay first down.
Flag on Justin Pugh. Here's Heather Cox.
Well, Mike, the Eagles' Doug Peterson said the success on offense came once they started moving quarterback Carson Wentz around. He said the problem is we're just not getting enough touches. We need more offensive snaps. Now for the Giants and Ben McAdoo, with Eli Manning starting 1 of 6 with an interception. He said the change came once they started protecting him better, but that the team must do a better job catching the ball, saying, quote, I am not happy with the way the receivers are catching the ball, Mike.
And one crosser for Sterling Shepard right through his hands. Flag made it first and 20, and 3 of them back on the Jennings carry. Think about the last 2 drives of Ben McAdoo's team. It was the 9-play drive that set up the field goal, and then the 12-play drive for the touchdown when the Giants last had it before halftime to get them back within 8. If you're just joining us, the Eagles jumped out to the 14-0 lead early in the first quarter. Second and 17. Manning will just get it to Jennings, trying to get as much of that penalty yardage back. It will be 3rd and 11 for the Giants from the 32.
You know, Mike, I keep thinking that maybe this is going to be a really good thing for this New York Giants offense. The fact that they got behind early, they can't play inside a shell, be protected by their defense anymore. They've got to open some things up. The problem is, by being behind, Jim Schwartz is staying in these deep sort of coverages to frustrate the big playability of some of these Giant receivers.
Beckham's bottom of the screen, right over the clock. 3rd and 11. Manning fires that way. Beckham first down into Eagles territory and on the run where he's so dangerous. Brought down to the 41-yard line. Pickup of 26 and a first down for the Giants.
It's just a zone defense, and you're going to get the safety right here, and the corner's going to stay, and you end up hitting that hole right there. Anytime you're playing against a cover 2 kind of team, that is the spot that you have to defend. And if you're Nolan Carroll, you have to understand that's Odell Beckham out there. You can't worry about what's in the flat underneath you. You have to get some depth.
That reception takes Beckham to 4,000 career receiving yards. 80 of them coming here tonight. First down, Manning throw down the sideline. Will Tye involved with Jenkins as Manning got hit at the end of the play by Bo Allen.
Well, let's take a look how the Philadelphia Eagles have been covering Odell Beckham. Early on, there was plenty of help around him. Tried to get a little pick route, get him open against Malcolm Jenkins. And then against cover 2, plenty of time there for the safety to come over and make a play. Here was the one time they really left him one-on-one and paid a price.
Big opening here, Jennings to the 21-yard line. So they gash him for a big run of nearly 20 yards. And the Eagles try to make the tackle. Jalen Watkins is the injured Philadelphia player. We'll step out. Earlier for Eli Manning, this is consecutive start 198. That's 3rd all-time. Brett Favre has the mark at 297. Then brother Peyton at 208. Eli 10 behind. They've been there all the time, and their backups have done very little work over the years. Think about how long those guys were in these places. 338 for Favre's backups, 209 for Peyton Manning, and Eli all with the same team, obviously, with only 98. And his backup tonight, by the way, is Josh Johnson. Ryan Nassib is on injured reserve, an elbow injury that he suffered at practice several weeks ago has been bothering him, finally sending him to IR. So Josh Johnson is the backup. Jalen Watkins being looked at by the medical staff on the sideline. Jalen Mills now in the game for Philadelphia. And here's Victor Cruz taken out of bounds by Nolan Carroll, but it's a first down as the Giants are in the red zone at the 12.
Yeah, and a really significant change now because of the injury. Malcolm Jenkins has to go out of that slot position where he can affect the game so much, and they bring in Jalen Mills. But this is a different looking defense. Even if they stay back, and keep in that sort of two deep look.
Hill's a 7th round pick, the rookie out of LSU. Giants down 8, back to Cruz, read that time by Carroll and erased.
So now here's Malcolm Jenkins, and you've got one safety in the middle of the field. So now tremendous pressure if they continue to play that way on the corners on the outside. If they stay in that mode, you are going to see Odell Beckham start getting thrown some balls right here.
Giants got all 3 of their receivers at the top of the screen, and Jennings down here at the bottom. Manning. 4-man rush. Another drop. 3rd one of the night. Beckham had that one in his hands, and it sets up 3rd and 9.
Well, I said they were going to throw it to him. I didn't say he's going to catch it. You know, I got to fill in the rest of that sentence sometimes.
You know, Beckham's had a couple of drops. His right thumb has been bothering him for about a month. And he has been told by McAdoo, you got to get past those drops. You cannot let them linger. Giants don't even huddle here. No chance to think about it. Paul Perkins, the back, next to Eli. 3rd and 9, putting it up towards Beckham, who's looking back for the flag. After the contact in that first 5-yard area with Nolan Carroll, there's no flag and a field goal attempt coming.
Nicely done. You're going to get a little wheel route, and you're going to turn into a fade up top. And Nolan Carroll is just going to stay right there with it. Contact right around the 5-yard area. Odell Beckham thought it was maybe a little deep, but that is a big stand right there for this defense.
Robbie Gould's got a pair of 35s, kicking from 29 here. Again, only 4 field goals with the Giants, 3 tonight. So he's 7 for 7 in his time with the Giants, who have cut the Philadelphia lead to 5. Now, Thursday Night Football is presented by Bud Light, beer with your team on it. Your team's the Giants. You know it's win tonight and in the playoffs, or win next week against Washington. If your team's the Cowboys and you're watching, a Giant loss here tonight means Dallas would win the NFC East and secure the #1 seed, and the road to the Super Bowl in the NFC would go through Arlington. Nelson Aguilar, no return. Carson Wentz will take over from the 25. Carson Wentz, young guy, getting ready to turn 24 on December 30th. Nice, you always like to know celebrity birthdays. Who else shares my birthday? Well, in athletics, December 30th is a home run. The great Sandy Koufax, who will turn 81 in a week in a couple of days. Tiger Woods, who will turn 41 on December 30th, tweeted out some cool Santa pictures of himself today. And LeBron James turns 32. So Koufax, Tiger, and LeBron. How about that for a good birthday?
That's pretty strong right there.
You want one more for that day?
Good.
Matt Lauer.
Really?
Yes, it's Matt Lauer's birthday.
That caps the whole thing off. He's asleep anyway. Let's talk about him.
I'm just making sure everybody knows I've made the full corporate move here. I bought into the whole deal. Hang with Matt now, back in Rio. From the 25, here is Wentz. And he completes it to Jordan Matthews for a gain of about 6 or 7 yards. Talk about Carson Wentz from North Dakota. There is Bismarck, North Dakota. Boy, do they love their football there. North Dakota State won 5 consecutive FCS championships, lost at home in the semifinals, but it's been neat to watch as the season has gone on, especially when Wentz was getting so hot. They were calling this Wentzylvania. You can fit almost all of Bismarck here at Lincoln Financial Field, but they were wearing all their Eagles gear. They got fully behind the Wentz wagon, if you will, in Bismarck, where they loved him, leading their team to championships, as they did in Philadelphia when they got off to that good start. Ryan Matthews, with the first down, just shy of the 40-yard line, and a pickup of nearly 8 yards.
You know what's interesting is this season, the bye week killed 2 really top-end teams. Think about it. Philadelphia jumps out 3-0, right, take a bye, and then the whole thing goes away.
2-9.
Minnesota starts out 5-0, gets a bye, and the whole thing goes away. I mean, it has been bizarre that that's happened to 2 of the fast-starting teams this year.
Minnesota 2-7 since that bye. First down throw from the 40, and Wentz gets it to Brent Celek. Lost the ball on the way down, and Zach Ertz, who's back in the game, is on the spot there. They're going to mark him down back where the contact happened to the 45. So just a gain of 5 on first down. And here's Heather again.
Mike, a couple of Eagles injury updates for you. Left guard Alan Barber has been downgraded to out with that hamstring injury, and safety Jalen Watkins, who was assessed by both the UNC, the neurological consultant, and the team internist, was just escorted into the locker room, is in the concussion protocol. As you guys mentioned, Jalen Mills is in as his replacement.
Okay, Heather, Stefan Wisniewski, who stepped in the first half for the injured left guard Alan Barber, remains in the lineup, number 61. That first look wasn't there. Wentz is able to flip it to Ryan Matthews, who's only going to gain a yard on that play. It'll be third down and short.
Yeah, and we're starting to see now Steve Spagnuolo stack the line of scrimmage a little bit more here, too. You can tell that he is a guy that in his heart really wants to bring pressure, right? Now, he's got a little bit of a problem tonight in that Janoris Jenkins, his best cover guy, who had a great day against Dez Bryant and the Dallas Cowboys, not in there. So maybe not quite as inclined to bring pressure in this one in the way that he might have the last couple of weeks.
Eagles back to 3 tight ends. 3rd and 2. They'll throw out of 3 tight ends. And completed to Ertz. Zach Ertz with a lot of space. Inside the 35-yard line. First down for Philadelphia and a gain of 18.
This one just took a little bit of time, and the key, obviously, you got to get Olivier Vernon blocked on the outside, and Jason Peters just continues to get it done on that side. And then on the other side, Lane Johnson, who has quietly gone about his business since that opening drive. And you can see how comfortable Carson Wentz looks back there in the pocket now that he's got these 2 great tackles playing out there.
.34, penalty flag thrown, a false start on Philadelphia.
False start, offense, number 71, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
It's the first penalty against the Eagles, and that's the 10th false start on Jason Peters this season.
Now for Doug Peterson now, he's got to see what I'm seeing out there, that we're starting to get more and more, maybe not now that it's first down and 15, but Landon Collins is that swing guy. He's the guy, is he back in coverage? Is he up around the line of scrimmage? He has been getting closer and closer and playing that run, now back because of the penalty.
15. Inside, it's only 3 yards for Sproles on that carry. Olivier Vernon, the tackle.
A little different when a tight end's having to block Olivier Vernon here. That time, Celek really no chance. That guy is, he's lightning quick, but what I like about Olivier Vernon the most is when he gets off blocks, he makes plays. You see him with some really great short area quickness to make plays where it looks like he's blocked and out of it.
And he's out there all the time. He's played 94% of the snaps.
Amazing, yeah.
More than any D lineman in terms of percent in the league. Wentz, 2nd and 13, throws incomplete. Contact was made on Dorial Green Beckham. As Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie got him there in a battle of 3 name guys. 3rd down.
I'm going to tell you something. Carson Wentz thinks he can throw a ball into anywhere.
Yes, he does.
He was late getting this ball out of here, and that was one of those that every once in a while goes for 6 points the other way. But he loads up with that fastball, and he just doesn't think anybody's going to get there before the football does. Well, the protection has been good so far, so if you can get some of those deep crossing routes in here, you still have a shot for this first down, but you certainly want to get field goal range.
Here comes the pressure from Collins. He couldn't get through. They were looking for the screen and had to get rid of it as the pressure was on, but the late hit by Vernon will be 15 yards. Let's see if Wentz is okay as he's slow to get up.
Ruling on the field is an incomplete pass. We have personal foul, roughing the passer, defense, number 54. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, automatic first down.
And Wentz is hurt, I believe. They're looking at him, the athletic training staff on the field there.
And I think what they're going to call is that they sort of drove him into the ground, and you can see that helmet banging off the turf And I can tell you some of the times I was knocked the loopiest was that. Not getting hit helmet to helmet when your head and your arms are pinned and your head snaps down to the ground. And they're taking a good long look here, which is going to test the concussion protocol system in ways that no other position can.
And we have not seen Chase Daniel here for Philadelphia, and here he comes, the backup quarterback. He had been with Doug Peterson in Kansas City for the past 3 years, started his career in New Orleans as an apprentice to Drew Brees, as part of the Saints roster that won the 2009 Super Bowl. Daniel, very decorated career at Missouri. Passed over really when they traded Sam Bradford. He was the number 2, remained there as Wentz became the starter, but now he is in on the first down, and Ryan Matthews is taken down for the loss of 2 as they look at Wentz. And Chris, one thing with the awareness, it's the referees, the officials, the guys upstairs, but Jason Peters was right there, and he saw that Wentz was a little shaky, and he walked him right over to the athletic training staff. Player awareness of taking care of their fellow man has increased as well with this concussion awareness around the NFL.
Big penalty both ways. When you look at it now, that hit's going to knock the starting quarterback out.
Here's Daniel just shoveling it forward, complete to Matthews inside the 15 and to the 9-yard line. A first down pickup of 16 as Chase Daniel makes the play.
But Jonathan Hankins right through, and the mobility of Chase Daniels really makes the difference on this one. Just barely escapes and make the flip. I don't know, Mike, if you saw it or not, but when Daniel walked in the huddle, he gave a little smile and a little wink to those guys in the huddle, like, hey, man, come on, you know I got this.
At the 9, Matthews left. Ertz held his block well, and Matthews stays alive to the 1. Zach Ertz helping his man down with a gain of 8. Wentz headed off to the locker room to be further assessed.
Yeah, going to end up with an extra offensive lineman here on the outside, and then Jason Peters just going to clean it up. You know, the one thing about Ryan Matthews that people don't really, he's a big guy. And when you try to bring him down to the ground, I remember Eric Weddle in the game when they played saying, hey, don't expect this guy to go down easily. He's a load, and showed it there.
Sam Malo, the offensive lineman, the extra one there, and Landon Collins. Talk about physical players who bring it. He stops Matthews for a loss of 2.
Yeah, when Wisniewski pulls, Landon Collins is going to take his place here and come in and make the play. Landon Collins has been doing this all season. He's a really fun guy to watch play the game of football. Not just the way he plays on the back end. Of course, the 5 interceptions, he has 3 sacks, but he makes plays in the running game like that all the time.
And he's part of the reason this Giant team has been the toughest to score on inside the 20. Chase Daniel hasn't played it all this year. Only a couple of games last year in Kansas City. His first appearance as an Eagle. He hands it to Matthews, slams it inside. This is close. I think he's short. Ruling on the field from the head linesman, Hugo Cruz, is that he is just short. Doug Peterson has shown a penchant to go for it on 4th down, and it looks like he will again here.
Certainly want to take a look here. Let's see when the knee or elbow or whatever goes down right there. Nice call by the officials.
We're getting a whistle.
It's like somebody in the Giants huddle is hurt.
Sarah, that's just Damon Harrison.
That's the absolute last guy you want hurt. That may change the decision here for Doug Peterson. Even if he wasn't thinking about going for it, he might here.
4th and goal coming up. They look at Harrison. Harrison helped to the Giants sideline. Chris, what does Doug Peterson think about play call? He's going to go for it on 4th down.
I don't think you want to go over Kelsey. I think you want to go to Jason Peters' side.
Got Bo Allen in as a fullback. Matthews cannot get there. He is stopped. Great surge by the Giants. Kerry Wynn gets the ultimate stop, but the surge off the right side of Steve Spagnuolo's defense sets it up. And the Giants slam the door. 4th and goal. New Year's tradition, hockey honor 100 years of the NHL, the Centennial Classic, the Red Wings and Maple Leafs in Toronto outdoors, and then January 2nd, the Bridgestone NHL Winter Classic, the Blackhawks and the Blues outside St. Louis. Great hockey tradition continues outdoors on NBC. Giants stop the 4th down from the 1. They take over at their own 2-yard line. Trailing by 5. This is Paul Perkins trying to get to the outside. Nigel Bradham eventually hit him. Connor Barwin a little dinged up there. Let's go back to that 4th down play.
You know, the guys that you don't expect to make the plays are the ones that come around the edge. Nice job inside. Robert Thomas, Jonathan Hankins squeeze it up, but they're able to catch it off the edge because it just took a little too long to get there for that jump to happen. This Giants defense, though, has been doing that all season long when they needed it most.
Barwin out, Marcus Smith in, Perkins runs up the middle. Michael Kendricks, Fletcher Cox make the tackle, 3rd and 2. If the Giants get a play in before the end of the 3rd quarter, here's Heather Cox.
Couple more updates for you, Mike. Eagles quarterback Carson Wentz is in the locker room and is in concussion protocol. And by the way, he does have a history with 1 concussion in college. And for the Giants, tackle Damon Harrison is having his right knee looked at. His return is questionable. And something to remember, guys, he hasn't missed a game since his rookie year. So that's 3 full seasons, and every game so far this season he's been in.
Mentioned it every week from the Jets there. Eli will not get this play off before the end of the frame, and we will go to the 4th quarter. Winning in the playoffs of the Giants. They've been down all night. They're down 5 after 3 on Thursday Night Football. Tonight's aerial coverage is provided by Geico. 4th quarter at Lincoln Financial Field in its 14th season. Beautiful home of the Eagles here in South Philly. Mike Tirico in for Al Michaels with Chris Collinsworth and Heather Cox. Here we go. Big play to start this 4th quarter. 3rd and 2 for the Giants right at the 10. It'll be an inside gift to Perkins, and the rookie takes it to the 19. 9-yard run and a 1st down for the Giants.
It's a great call by Eli Manning. I don't think he could believe they sat there with 2 deep safeties on 3rd and 2 in this kind of a moment in the game. Safety's back there. Eli is going to check out of it because he knows they don't have enough guys in there to stop that run. Nice job by John Jerry coming around, but that was just outmatched in the run game.
From the 19, inside with Perkins. He's not going to get anything there. Ben McAdoo calls in the plays to Eli Manning. You might remember there was the story regarding the use of a walkie-talkie for 5 plays 2 weeks ago against Dallas. The team was fined $150,000, McAdoo $50,000, and the Giants' 4th round pick in the upcoming draft was moved to the end of the round, moving a maximum of 12 spots down. Because you can't use the walkie-talkie. That communication system cuts off at 15 seconds on the play clock. The walkie-talkie system does not. When there was a malfunction, they were scrambling, went to the walkie-talkie. That's a no-no, and the Giants are going to pay for it. Beckham with the catch, and he gets the 1st down at the 23-yard line.
Yeah, and to Ben McAdoo's credit, he owned it. And let's say this. I know that's a heavy fine, but in that situation, they had tried to get it to some sort of a messenger system.
Right.
But you can imagine Ben McAdoo and Eli Manning probably communicated such a high level, trying to give it to some guard or somebody to messenger in wouldn't have worked very well, so they went to the walkie-talkie, paid the price, but they won the game.
They've got 3rd and 5 here. And those deep safeties, and Manning will throw complete for the 1st down to Jarrell Adams. The rookie tight end has it at the 32-yard line. And the Giants move the chains here on their 2nd drive of this 2nd half.
Boy, I tell you, talk about the Odell Beckham effect. The fact that that guy is on the field, the unwillingness really for Jim Schwartz on this half of the field to take a chance, take those 2 safeties out of the middle. He's just not going to do it. He's not going to give them that one big play down the field. He's going to make them march the distance.
The 32, there's the slant to Beckham that he can take a long way, but was wrapped up that time by Nolan Carroll. The 36, a gain of 4 yards. Meantime, Carson Wentz is officially out of the concussion protocol, going back to get that 2nd look with the unaffiliated neurological consultant and the Eagles team doctors. Comes back. You see him there talking to Zach Ertz and Darren Sproles. It looks like Wentz will try to return the next time Philadelphia gets the ball. 2nd and 5. Manning's first look wasn't there, and Bo Allen, who has been a presence tonight, was right in Eli's face as he tried to get the check down, and it brings up 3rd and 5.
Bo Allen got there so fast he disrupted the screen pass, which is all that was. Coming right up, you can see that Justin Pugh gives him a shot and then lets him go, but it was the coverage on the outside, the recognition, that allowed and forced Eli to just throw that one away.
Allen had a half a sack last week. He's shown up on some significant plays here. He's back out on the field for 3rd and 5. Eagles bring in 4. Manning throwing, and it's intercepted. That is 2 for Malcolm Jenkins tonight. Pick 6 in the first quarter. Now 3 interceptions on the season. 2 against the rival Giants and Eli tonight. Thursday Night Football is brought to you by the 2017 Kia Sorento. Learn more at kia.com. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. And by Walmart, find gifts, groceries, and more this season. Longwood Gardens, 30 miles west of Center City, just one of the many places where the holiday season in full bloom. Carson Wentz back in at quarterback for Philadelphia. And the throw on 1st down, chased by Vernon, got away from it, and now we'll just get rid of it out of the tackle box and getting the ball around the line of scrimmage to avoid intentional grounding.
Yeah, let's go back to the interception here. Now watch what Malcolm Jenkins does. He drifts this way to tell Eli Manning it may just be a single high, and then drives hard on that. Most cover 2 safeties are not that far inside. I really think that Jenkins, the veteran who studies so much film, just baited him a little bit, and that's the 2nd time. Look at Jim Schwartz. Atta baby. He got him earlier in the game for the pick 6 and got him with a huge one there. Schwartz's patience paid off.
The 44, this is 2nd down. Darren Sproles got away from one tackle. Look at Sproles go. So many yards from scrimmage during his career. He got a good block to get free, and Sproles goes to the 43-yard line for the 1st down.
And look who's leading the way for him once again. Lane Johnson right up front, right there, is going to take Wynn right back. And anytime Darren Sproles can get a little bit of space, he turns into a punt returner, and then you have a problem.
You can't see it. You can see just how low to the ground he is at a legit 5'6". 17,000 plus yards from scrimmage over his career. And you got all those great kick return yards as well. There's down play action.
Look out.
Wentz trying to spin away again. He ducked under. Takes off. And will slide for the 1st down. Lost the ball on the slide. This is going to be interesting.
Really close. When the knee goes down, this slide will be dead.
And Carl Johnson, who was the head of officiating.
First, which means he's down once he gives himself up.
That's a good call. That knee was down, and I think that is the right call. Boy, was that close. We have seen Eli Manning. Remember that in the past where he went head first and the ball came out?
Yes.
Different story. When you're giving yourself up, that knee is down. Doesn't matter what happens after that. Great call by the officials.
Now we got a challenge flag thrown by the Giants, and I would think that's going to be a lost challenge. Again, Carl Johnson, who came back on the field as an official, as a line judge, was the job that Dean Blandino has. Mike Pereira before that, the vice president of officiating. Now Clete Blakeman's coming over. When you rule down, you can't challenge that play.
It's an easy call. Once that knee hits down, once he started the slide, he is clearly down. Now it's just a matter of whether or not you're even allowed to challenge that call. Boy, what a play by Wentz. This is a couple of scrambles and escapes that he's made.
That was after he just was back 5 minutes ago in the concussion protocol.
Well, and that 10 to 15 yards, whatever that was, now puts him in field goal range. When you start looking at the scoreboard, what a significant number that 3 could be.
There is no challenge on the play. The quarterback slid feet first, which means he's down the time he gives himself up at that spot. It's a 1st down by the yardage gain.
Watch Houdini on this one. Yeah. Not bad. I mean, he was being attacked from 3 different areas and closing in quickly, and somehow he got out of it. That's the difference with this guy. I know there's a lot of young quarterbacks and Dak Prescott, his mobility, Jared Goff, we saw him. But that kind of a play out of Carson Wentz bodes well for Eagles fans.
There's a 6'5" guy getting down to Sproles level there. Here's the real Sproles. And a real deal play by Cody Sensabaugh made the initial contact in the backfield to make it a loss of 3. Again, what's at stake here tonight? Giants win and in the playoffs. They've missed the last 4 years. If they don't win, they can win next week and get in, or have some other things happen over this weekend to back their way in. For the Eagles, if they win, it helps Dallas because Dallas clinches the NFC East, and the road to the Houston Super Bowl will go through Dallas on the NFC side.
You have to play field goal first. That loss of yardage there put them on the fringe.
Pitch it to Matthews.
Hello.
Swing it to Aguilar. Wentz out there with a block. Aguilar stays in bounds long enough to gain 5 yards to the 30.
I don't think they're playing for the field goal. Oh, man. And you're right on the borderline of field goal territory. And here comes Carson Wentz, concussion and all, out leading the way, which I'm sure Doug Peterson is probably thrilled about. But that's what we've seen out of that young man.
And bad news for the Giants, Chris. Eli Apple is hurt. They start the night without their best corner, Janoris Jenkins. Wentz was blocking, and Apple was the one who got hit by Wentz. And they're looking at his leg. Damon Harrison hurt earlier. The Giants defense taking a hit tonight. NFL Thursday Night Football is presented by Bud Light, beer with your team on it. Eli Apple walked off with the Giants training staff. Also, Jason Peters injured on that play. Isaac Seumalo, the third-round rookie out of Oregon State, in at left tackle. It's 3rd and 8, and Wentz throws it complete, but it's going to be shy of the first down as Aguilar, it's incomplete. Aguilar was juggling. So it'll be 4th down, and from here a field goal will be 48 yards. And they're going to try it with Sturgis.
Is the knee hit? I think the knee hits down there.
Looked like it was a secure catch as the ball was against his body.
I didn't see the juggle. Let's see it one more time. Pinned against his chest, knee down. That's
the left elbow. The left elbow is on the white too.
I don't know about that.
All right. Well, we'll have time to look at it.
I like it. A little debate team going here.
Good challenge. He was shy of the first down.
Philadelphia is challenging the ruling on the field of an incomplete pass.
Because even if you're just adding to the field goal, it's significant here.
The judgment is ahead.
After reviewing the play, the receiver controlled the ball and got his left knee down in bounds. Therefore, it is a completed catch. The ball is out of bounds. The 23-yard line, 1 yard short of the line to gain. Brings up 4th down from that spot. Philadelphia will not be charged with a timeout.
They don't get the first down, but they win the challenge and get the extra yards. Collinsworth, you win whatever we wagered on that. So good one there.
Big.
But as you said, going to break, it makes the field goal 7 yards closer for Caleb Sturgis.
He's had a streak of 18 straight during the course of this season, well within his range.
41-yarder. Operation good. And the kick is right down Broad Street. And the Eagles lead by 8, 24-16. The Philadelphia, we know the reputation over the year of the Philadelphia fans, and they're not the easiest to please, but they are passionate and loyal. They're loving this guy, Carson Wentz. But if we go Throwback Thursday, let's go back to a day that some of that reputation was cemented. December 16th of 1968. Santa Claus at halftime comes out greeted with booze. They pelt him with snowballs, as they said in the Inquirer, in the worst Philadelphia tradition. And that gets referred to all the time. Oh, it's Philly. They booed Santa Claus. They threw snowballs at Santa Claus.
Yeah, we're going to get pelted for doing that story again. People in Philadelphia are sick of that one, man.
But you know,
they are sick of it.
You know what the halftime entertainment was tonight?
What?
No Santa Claus. They just had a bunch of mascots out there. All the Philly sports teams, their mascots were out there. The Bears mascot was out. No snowballs were thrown.
Really?
Yeah.
Did they vote?
No, but there's also no snow, so it would have been hard to throw snowballs. But one thing about this city, though, Chris, Carson Wentz got off to that 3-0 start. And they love it. They love it. They're on board with that guy, and I think that makes a huge difference in how he's allowed to progress and grow with this team.
You know, but plays like he made last week, those last couple of drives to take him down the field, he's shown a lot of fight. He's shown it again tonight.
Dwayne Harris to the goal line. Harris gets a block. Giants take it out to the 25-yard line. Special teams tackle Rodney McLeod. Chris, good night for Malcolm Jenkins.
Star of the game so far, Malcolm Jenkins, I think, disguised his coverage well here, sank back underneath the tight end after letting the receiver go across the field, pick 6 on that one, and then I thought he just fooled with Eli a little bit. You could see Eli was looking right at him, and as he saw him drift to the inside, generally that means against that cover 2 man, you can work it in down to the boundary, but Jenkins just too quick and got to jump on it.
All right, Giants, here you go, down 8-42. Trying to get in the playoffs with a win. It'll be a Sterling Shepard run. Ty and Victor Cruz are out there to block, but nobody could make a difference. Jalen Mills, the tackle, minimal game.
Yeah, and what's it been, 4 straight years they haven't made the playoffs?
Correct.
And Eli got up in front of the team this week and said, guys, do not take this opportunity for granted. You have a chance to clinch a playoff spot. Don't think you're going to get this opportunity again. They went to the Super Bowl and then sat out 4 years before they got this kind of opportunity.
2nd and 8. It's Beckham on the run. First down, Odell across the 40. Midfield, putting on the speed, putting on the moves. Beckham stays on the run. Gets himself up at the 40-yard line. And it'll be whistled down there. Big gain by Beckham.
This guy's the most exciting guy in the game. There he is, the inside receiver, going to go across the field. And now we know the answer to the trivia question. Who's the only guy who can tackle Odell Beckham?
Odell Beckham.
You got it.
That's it. I'm done. Next. 33 on that one. Over 100 for the night. The 40. Manning to Will Todd. Gain of 5. Mills and Hicks on the tackle. It was interesting, Chris. It was yesterday Eli got up in front of the offense and made that passionate speech. And we talked to him yesterday, and that was the most passion I've heard from Eli Manning in a long time, because most of the guys around here haven't been to the playoffs. They weren't part of those Giants teams in 07 and 11. Tough to get into a game where you're playing for a playoff spot. Don't take it lightly. Jennings lost the ball out of bounds. Incomplete pass. 2007, 2011, and when everybody in New York saw the defense play the way they did against Dallas on Sunday night, play the way they did against the Lions, hey, maybe this is the equation.
Give Eli one more chance. And I think this is 4 down territory here. What do you think, Mike? 35-yard line?
Certainly would be for Philly. McAdoo's gone for it on 4th down 16 times this year. See if they get the 5 here. And Manning throws incomplete for Victor Cruz. Leotis McKelvin, the coverage, and they'll go for it on 4th down.
Leotis McKelvin, great job, and this is not Odell Beckham, and you can see Cruz not nearly as explosive, and so McKelvin willing to sit and jump that one, and here they go. At least going to give you the hard count here on this 4th down and 4.96 yards.
Offside would get it for you. McKelvin travels with Odell Beckham, bottom of the screen. Eli Manning, middle, caught at the 25-yard line by who else? Beckham keeps the drive alive with 6.5 left in regulation.
And there's the difference. Odell Beckham, same guy in defense. Watch him drive him off, and then the quick break, just enough to get McKelvin off of him. And before Malcolm Jenkins could get there, and that's just a gutsy, tough catch.
From the 25, Manning towards Beckham in the end zone. Went up with one hand and couldn't pull it down.
The only way he doesn't make that catch is if he doesn't put a hand on it. And you know Eli is thinking, boy, I could have just given him that chance. But there was Malcolm Jenkins again. And Eli has to have a little bit of number 27 in his brain right now because he's been fooled a couple of times.
Beckham stopped to adjust his uniform. So I'm not not sure how much of a call he's going to be a part of here. Try the other side. Incomplete. It'll be third down. Looking for Victor Cruz, who's likely. 6:17 to go in regulation.
Yeah, and that was interesting. By staying no huddle there, they didn't give their star player. You could see Odell Beckham coming off the ball. He was tired, and he wasn't engaged in the play. It would have been almost better off to just go back to the huddle and giving him a chance to just freshen up a little bit. He needed it. Well, I tell you, it has been a work of art by Jim Schwartz so far. Does his defense have a couple more in him?
Cruz cannot get away from Nolan Carroll. 4th and 3.
I think you go again.
Yeah. Field goal unit on here. Interesting with 6 minutes left.
Well, they couldn't have kicked the field goal before, and I guess the fact that the score would end up at 8, you want to take away having to make the 2-point conversion to tie, so you take it here, but you just have to hope now you get the ball back.
You're going to count on that defense, which has been good. They've got all their timeout, plus the 2-minute warning, so plenty of time. And now we get a whistle and a flag down with the snap imminent. It is 4th down and short. What's the call here? Is it too many guys on the field for Philly? Let's see. The snap was imminent.
False start. Offense for the 69. 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
All right, Brett Jones will push the field goal try back a little bit.
Right there he is. You can move as long as you don't jump across the line of scrimmage, and the official there declaring that jump did not cross the line of scrimmage.
In 7 games with the Giants, Robbie Gould tried 4 field goals and made them all. In his 8th game, he's tried 4 field goals for the Giants and made them all. We're sitting on a 5-point game with 5 and 17 to go in Philadelphia. The joy and spirit of the holiday season will then take a turn as it's Ravens and Steelers with a lot on the line in the AFC North. NFL Network coverage begins 2 Eastern, 4:30 Eastern time. We'll have the kick. I'll be with Doug Flutie, Tony Dungy, Heather Cox, and I heading over to Pittsburgh tomorrow. Steelers win. They win the AFC North. Ravens would need to win their last 2, but that has been a great rivalry over the years. Another chapter written on Christmas late afternoon. And then the Chiefs and the Broncos on Sunday Night Football with Al, Chris, and Michelle. Eagles will get it at the 25 with 5:17 to go. Odell Beckham Jr. Nice wish list, right, for Christmas? All I want is 1 stop, please. You defensive guys, take care of me. Give me 1 more shot, will you?
Meanwhile, Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott are doing the same thing. Please, just 1 drive here, Philadelphia. Just 1 drive. Let's clinch this thing tonight.
We had a lot of players who went out on that last drive. Jason Peters, the left tackle, is back in for Philadelphia. The Giants, Damon Harrison went out earlier. Their big defensive lineman up inside. He is back in there for New York.
Hollow in there is the extra tight end.
Yep.
So 6 offensive linemen.
Drive starting from the 25. Sproles, good play by Olivier Vernon, along with Harrison and Collins to make the stop. It'll be 2nd and long as we dive under 5 minutes in the 4th.
And that's Olivier Vernon at his best right there. As that stretch play came out, he's almost like a running back finding a way to slip through the hole and come back in there and make the play. Now you bring up the pass rush situation. You also bring up the possibility for Spagnuolo, whether or not he's willing to blitz without some of his corners in there. I don't know. Eli Apple back in there. But this is an interesting call here. This is where Spagnuolo loves to bring pressure.
Wentz with an extra long look and word to Jordan Matthews running out of the slot. He's looking that way and throwing that way. It'll be caught shy of the 30-yard line. 3rd and 6 coming up. And Matthews going out of bounds there, so the clock stopped at 4:29.
Yeah, and for Doug Peterson, he was thinking pressure on that one as well. They used the quarterback getting him out of the pocket, so you only have to protect one side of the line of scrimmage. Now 3rd and 6, a little bit more of that middle ground. I think if Janoris Jenkins in there, they probably blitz and play man. I'm not so sure, though, right now. Cody Sensabaugh, the guy that's going to have the man coverage out here against Nelson Aguilar.
Saw Jenkins wearing that stocking cap, number 20, the best Giants corner. 6 DBs, the pressure comes. Sensabaugh hits Wentz, who throws incomplete. There the pressure came. It didn't get there, but it forced it out quick. And Odell got his wish. And let's see if Beckham goes back for this punt with 4:24 to go.
Yeah, they're going to end up bringing pressure and then dropping out the other way, and they were going to try and set him up as an underneath route. You saw Trey Burton over there, and they tried to bait the rookie into making that throw on the outside. He did not, and probably saved himself an interception.
Beckham is one of 2 twin safeties back for this Donnie Jones punt. It's away with good hang time. Beckham and Harris. It's Harris catching at the 27-yard line. And it will stop right there.
Did you see Odell Beckham faking it over there?
Oh, yeah, I did. Just going to let you think I'm going to catch it, but it was going to the other side.
A month ago, they battled all night long, and 5 quarters was barely enough.
Off the upright and in! Unbelievable game winner!
Now they meet again, the Broncos and Chiefs. It's our gift to you on Christmas night.
That'll be a great one Sunday night. So much on the line for Denver. The chance trying to stay alive. Here the Giants trying to get in the playoffs, start this drive from the 27. And Paul Perkins keeps going, and he's very close to a first down as Jordan Hicks hobbles to the sideline. The Philadelphia linebacker's hurt.
Great play there by Eli Manning, just getting this ball out. You're going to see Brandon Graham go right through Bobby Hart, basically throw him into Eli, and Eli just hung in there.
Stephen Tulloch replacing the injured Hicks. The run up the middle for Perkins, who's in here in crunch time. Gets the first down to the 43-yard line. So Hicks is out. He's played so much this year. Stephen Tulloch, who started every game for the Lions in 5 of the last 6 seasons, but has been an insurance policy, only played 53 snaps all season, comes in on this drive.
They'll probably keep staying run.
43, Eli O'Neal. Beckham made a man miss. Odell first goes, yard shy of the first down, I should say, as Nigel Bradham makes the tackle with 3:10 to go.
I tell you, a big difference now with Jordan Hicks out, the coverage linebacker, and Stephen Tulloch in, who has been with Jim Schwartz in Tennessee and Detroit, but not nearly the coverage guy that Jordan Hicks is.
2nd and 1, they run. Perkins got stopped for a minute, re-accelerates and gets the first down to the 40-yard line. Fletcher Cox had an arm on him, couldn't pull him down.
Boy, they have just missed off that defensive left side. Brandon Graham almost got Eli, and Fletcher Cox almost got Perkins on that one.
2.5 to go. 4-man rush, not getting there. Beckham underneath. Odell jumping to the sideline at the 35-yard line. Saw the numbers go by earlier. The Giants 6 games over 500 in these 1-possession, 8-point or less games. The Eagles haven't won one all year, 0-6. The margin is so small. Some years you got the right group, the right mix, and you do it in crunch time. Sometimes you don't. Could that be playing out again here tonight?
This team's been as good as any in the 4th quarter, both offensively and defensively.
Roger Lewis comes in. He's bottom of the screen. The rookie receiver from Bowling Green. Eli throwing it up top toward Lewis. Broken up by McKelvin. It hung in the air, and Leonis McKelvin knocked it away.
It's one of those plays I think Eli would like to have back again, because when you get this quarters coverage, there is no safety in the middle of the field, and yet he bent him back towards the boundary instead of just giving him a chance. But there was too much pressure from Vinny Curry and just didn't make an accurate throw.
Curry and Bo Allen has had a nice game. 3rd and 4. Certainly 4-down territory. And he's got some time here, and crossing it is Beckham trying to break the plane with the ball. And where's it going to be marked? Interesting spot here from the head linesman, Hugo Cruz. He's marking it at the 31. That's a first down for the Giants. Beckham holding the ball out got him the progress to get the first down, and that clock should have stopped at 2 minutes. And it's just clock operator error. They'll go back and get it. So here we go. Beckham gets him to the 31. 2 minutes left. Giants can score a touchdown. It could be in the playoffs. No challenges inside of 2 minutes, but if a play happens on the other side of the 2-minute warning, you can challenge it. Doug Peterson's going to challenge the spot here. As Odell Beckham catches it, he has to get to the 31, right to the white on the 31-yard line. And you can see as he was trying to reach out, he was nowhere near it. Is his forward progress here sufficient to say he broke the 31-yard line plane? That's a look right down. It is being challenged. Looked at here and back at NFL headquarters in New York.
After review of the play, the runner's forward progress was short of the line to gain. So it'll bring up 4th down from that spot. Philadelphia will not be charged with a timeout.
Sometimes you're not able to move a spot. That was a definitive look right down the 31-yard line with the camera. So New York got the look. They can make that decision. It's 4th and 1, and obviously the Giants will go for it. If they don't pick it up, they can still get the ball back with 1:24 left if they stop the Eagles.
I'm going to take a guess here. I'm going to think if you're running the ball here, you're going to run it toward Vinny Curry's side, number 75, behind Eric Flowers, the big guy. I don't think you want to go the other way with Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham. Vinny Curry much more of the pass rusher.
Now quick to the line, see if they snap it quick. With time, the tight end exchanges sides. Oh boy. The least penalized team in the league at the worst time.
Ball start. Offense. Number 77. The 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
Wow.
Well, you know he's going hard count all the way, right? I mean, you're going to try and get it for free without having to run the play, and Eli only got his own guy. But now you bring Odell Beckham back into the game, and when you're in this situation, that may not be a bad thing.
Tremendous challenge by Doug Peterson. Erases the first down, gets him to 4th and 1. Terrible mistake by the Giants. Now 4th and 6 from the 37. 5 in the pattern. Manning looking, throwing, and it is incomplete. Sterling Shepard, hand fighting, couldn't come up with it. Giants sideline furious that there's no call on Nolan Carroll. The Eagles will take over with 1:54 left.
First of all, the game's not over, but what a play out here by Nolan Carroll. Ball is right there, and he just had the presence of mind, a little tugging, a little pulling. Everybody's going to see it, but on 4th down, everybody in the world knows exactly what's going to happen. Tough to make that call right there. And here's the double on Beckham. As you see the safety, Rodney McLeod coming in to take away their number 1 threat, and they couldn't make a play on the outside. Great play by Carroll.
He just hooked his arm. Shepard couldn't get that other arm out there. As you said, the game's not over. If managed properly and the Giants stop the Eagles on these 3 downs, New York would still have 1:25 or so without timeouts to try to get down the field. But the Eagles can make it tough on them. Sproles the run. About 3 yards. Timeout. Giants. 1:50 to go.
Here we go. Top of your screen one more time. Let's take a look. How much is allowed? How much is holding? How much is hooking? How much is pushing? There was a little push off by Shepard, but there was a big
right arm
by Carroll.
Look at that right arm hook there.
There's a hook. Yeah. I'm just telling you, on 4th down, games on the line, it's like Hail Marys. You
Never
don't
call
see
it there.
If I'm calling that one, that's interference.
Right.
But let's face it, there are human beings out there in those striped uniforms as well. There was plenty going on that play, and more often than not, Hail Marys and those big moment plays, you can stretch the letter of the law just a little bit more, and they did.
Second and 8. Sproles right. Landon Collins make sure that there's nothing more happening. Gain of a yard or so. 1:42 remaining. Giants use their second timeout.
Long way from over, but Doug Peterson has to be proud of the way his guys came out here on a short week, really with nothing to play for. The Giants had everything to play for. And it's an amazingly optimistic group, isn't it, for a team that's had a rough year?
They've lost 7 of their last 8, but you didn't get that sense for 1 second being around them.
And what's happened to them is they've lost all the close games. They've lost all the one-score games. The Giants have won all those games. Probably the difference between a veteran quarterback and a young quarterback. But here they are on the brink now with a tremendous performance by their defense of not allowing this celebration of the Giants for clinching to happen here.
What's on? Hey, kill. What's up? Time out.
Moved it all the way down, trying to get the freebie with the hard count. Can't get the 5-yard penalty, so it will be timeout Philadelphia. And we remind you that the Volkswagen postgame report is coming up after the game. Heather will interview the star of the game. And we'll wrap up this opener to Week 16 of the NFL season. The closer for Thursday Night Football with a good one here in Philadelphia. 5-point game.
I tell you, there are a lot of teams around the league interested in this one. If you're the Dallas Cowboys or one of their fans, you are wildly interested in the outcome of this one, but there are many more teams than that.
Change the equation for Dallas Monday night, playing Detroit. They'd have the #1 seed locked up if the Eagles can get these 5 yards. They dare throw it. They will. Wentz taking a shot downfield towards Matthews, and it is broken up. So there is your Christmas gift to the Giants. They don't run it. They give Eli a timeout in addition to about 1.5 minutes remaining. So they got aggressive, and the Giants going to have a chance to make them pay for it.
Wow. They went after Trevin Wade. Now he's the guy, obvious, the next guy in. But there he is, and you can tell that Matthews, he's had that bad ankle. He really has not been full speed. You see him, a little bit of the hold off there, but that, you called it right. That's a gift, and I'm not sure I'm kicking it to that guy.
Beckham is back. He's had 2 called back this year, returns for touchdown. Jones just hits a knuckler. It's a fair catch signal made by Beckham at the 15-yard line. And full credit to Trevin Wade. He did what Carroll did, just lock arms. And now the Giants trying to make up for the miscues that they've made tonight. Second drive, Manning threw a pick 6 to Malcolm Jenkins, down 14-0. That one just underthrown for Shepard. Wentz on the run, tough call on the slide, Apple the hit. They scored a touchdown the next play. 15 yards on that penalty on Vernon, and then Jenkins lurking makes the pick, and then the 4th and inches move by John Jerry that cost them, went to 4 and 6 and couldn't convert. Nevertheless, 85 yards, 1 timeout, 91 seconds. 2-time Super Bowl champ at the helm. Will Tye, gain of 5 out of bounds.
Boy, that's a rare moment. I might come right back to that play because it looked like there was room in there to sneak that one into Odell Beckham. He took the check down, nothing wrong with that. But if they're going to stay in that cover 2 and give Beckham that kind of room on the outside, I'm coming back to it.
Next throw from Manning will be his 55th on the night. And it's a completion to Victor Cruz. The 28-yard line. It's a first down. It was the important one when you get one of these clock drives going, but time is tumbling down. 1:11 left. Again, Bobby Rainey out of the backfield. Good move by Rainey to the 40-yard line. Marking with the 41.
And here's what Eli's doing. He's not letting them substitute the pass rushers in the game. These guys are already worn down.
Career-high 57th pass attempt for Manning is coming here. And it's a throw to the sideline. Shepard just gets out of bounds.
But here comes the subs. That's a good thing, but a bad thing. Because by going out of bounds, now they get the fresh pass rushers back on the field. You can see how shot those guys were coming off.
Yeah, 57 pass attempts will do that to you.
Staying too deep with the safeties, not giving up the big pass.
Seconds to go. Incomplete for Rainey. 3rd and 4 coming up.
You know, I know I'm a sucker for this movie, but every time they play the Rocky thing in the key situations,
I love it.
I still get amped up a little bit.
So does this city. They love it. And they would love to see one of the positives of the Eagles season be keeping the Giants from clinching a playoff in their building. Manning. That is complete for Shepard. Clock will run with 40 seconds left.
Good news for the Eagles. Jordan Hicks back in at that coverage linebacker position.
And signals to get this going. 31 seconds left. Sideline throw is complete to Cruz to the 33. Might have to use the timeout here. 25, and they will. It is back-to-back plays. Too much time wasted. Now you use that final timeout, but you need to get everybody here because now you're in a position where you can take some shots closer to the end zone.
Boy, I've been in a couple of games like this where it comes down and you've been in the 2-minute offense and you've been playing catch-up. And as a wide receiver or as a defensive back or as a pass rusher, you're just shot. You're just exhausted out there. And sometimes a guy comes in with a little bit of fresh legs, a receiver that hasn't been playing that much, can just look lightning quick out on the field.
And again, Chris, this on the short week. Eagles game came down to the wire last week against Baltimore on Sunday. And this will be the 86th play the Giants run. This feels like the Eagles defense last year that faced so many plays in the hurry-up Chip Kelly system. 24 seconds left. No timeouts. Manning in trouble. Can't take a sack. And the throw is ruled incomplete and no sack. And that's a huge break for the Giants.
Brandon Graham one more time working against Bobby Hart.
And I'm watching his knee is down here. Last 2 minutes.
Take a look.
Review this upstairs.
Ball's out. It's amazing how close Brandon Graham comes to probably having 15 sacks during the season.
Eli about to throw a 60-second pass of this game. Ties the Giants record with this pass attempt. They take a shot downfield towards Beckham. Overthrown. 14 seconds left. Third down coming up.
This was a great play call here. They've been running these corners all night. They fake it and then run back to the post. And a perfect throw would have had a chance on that one. You certainly would have liked to have seen Odell Beckham with a chance for a jump ball and just missed time.
Same deal, Chris. Beckham's just coming back to the line of scrimmage. Eli's going to make sure he knows with a little hand signal that Eli hid to Beckham. He's got to be in on this play. Again, no timeouts. 13 seconds left. Manning just putting it up for grabs towards Will Tye, and it's intercepted. Cutting underneath and taking it away, Terrence Brooks. And the Eagles will not let the Giants clinch a playoff berth on their field.
Well, I'll tell you why that throw wasn't good enough anyway, because they wouldn't have time to run another play. Had he caught it, he would have caught it in the field of play. Some pressure got to Eli, but it has been a patient secondary all night long, and they got it done when it mattered most.
And Eli Manning throws his third interception, all of them coming on third down. Vinny Curry's pressure wouldn't let him step all the way into it, get it downfield. The Giants can get losses by Detroit, Green Bay, Tampa, or Atlanta in that group to still get themselves into the playoffs before their game against Washington next week.
Well, there's no party for the Giants tonight. There's a big party going on in Dallas right now.
That's right. As soon as Carson Wentz takes a knee, the #1 seed and the NFC East champions are the Dallas Cowboys.
Wow.
The Eagles have won a close game, a one-possession game for the first time this year. They snap a 5-game slide. Manning with a Giants record, 63 attempts, broke Phil Simms' record, but was in a losing cause. Philadelphia gets the win, 24-19. Volkswagen postgame coming.